Hey everybody, it's Stever82 on YouTube. I'm also posting my videos to a lot of other platforms like Library, 3Speak, which puts it on Hive. And I also am going to start doing a video post on Theta, but right now I can only post one video a week, so not all of them will be there. I'll pick kind of my favorite video. Today I'm going over one that I think a lot of you will be interested in if you're following Gala games at all, and that is a video to basically tell you about a lot of the great updates they've had in the past, like about 2 weeks. I haven't been making videos for the last few days. I spent some time with family, so let's go ahead and get into this. I went ahead and logged into the account. Some people were asking in one of my videos about some of the screenshots from the upcoming Mirandus games. If you make an account on Gala Games, they're starting to share those. So all of these, they're not solid like for sure, but this is the kind of look of the game. It reminds me a little bit of a Minecraft look, a little bit squarey, that kind of feel, but that's pretty much what I feel like. You can imagine it feels like it'll kind of be like a Minecraft world, but that will be a lot of it will be pre-made, and then a lot of it will be built by us as we use our deeds and our buildings to actually spring up towns around the world. The reason I wanted to log into the account is one of the big things I want to go over is they did sell their second Citadel. So if you don't know much about these Citadels, there will only be 5 in the game. It makes you the king of a realm. And so the first one was bought by Poignant, I believe. And the second one, I have to verify who bought it, but they did buy it. You can see the cost here at 2,710 Ethereum. These are extremely expensive. And with 2 of them sold now, I am much more confident that the team is going to sell the other ones, and they are going to have the funding to build the game they have in mind and launch it. And if it lives up to the hype and it lives up to what they've been talking about in the AMAs, this is going to be a really impressive and very different MMO game. So the other piece of big news I want to get to right away is we all know that this token was built on Ethereum. One of the problems with Ethereum is that if you go to your account and you're a player who doesn't play very much, here, and you go to your treasure chest and you've got yourself 1,700 Gala that you've earned because you played the game, and you've got a referral award and you want to claim it, and you go, boy, I got to pay $10 to claim 1,700 Gala. That don't make no sense, right? That's not going to work. This is one of my big complaints I've had about them, and I can shut up about it now, and that is because of this. Gala Games is going to integrate with Flare Network as a way for you to now mint your Gala tokens or your items onto the Flare chain once it's live and running. And as Flare is kind of a fork off of XRP, the fee should be almost non-existent. So we don't need to worry anymore about the idea that Flare that you can't claim your little items. If you're like me and you have a little bit of Gala in your treasure chest, maybe some random pieces you run during the Christmas event that are just not worth enough money to mint, you're going to be able to now get those items in their ecosystem, and this is also going to make their nodes way better. So I'm going to actually look into buying a node, and we're going to talk about that as well. But this partnership was just announced. If you want to read through all the details here, I'm not going to try to cover it all. There will be a link in the video description. You can come and check it out. They also had one other partnership I want to do a brief notice on, and that is this ARC partnership. They haven't really done the video or the full release on this one yet. I'm still waiting to find out just everything that's going to be working together with this, but it is nice to see them growing, continue to make more partnerships. They've had a couple drops of different kind of NFTs that have sold out very quickly, like the potion shops were really big. So they're just humming along, releasing these items, selling them. I'm glad I have a homestead. I'm going to be looking to buying some more land. I'm just trying to decide between a node and more land and deeds and buildings. There's just so much to want to buy, and I'm always careful. I don't like to put my eggs in one basket, but I am a big fan of NFT games and games where you can earn money playing them. This is why I like Town Star. It's why I plan to play Mirandus. It's why I play Splinterlands. I play things like Holy Sword. alien worlds. I'll do a video on that pretty soon. They just released some updates, so I want to get into that a little bit more. And then we're going to go ahead and move on a little bit here to one of the other posts that I'm going to put a link in. And this is the world as a simulation. So this is kind of a post that'll make you understand more of how they envision the world. So if you want to know what Mirandus is, you should come and read this. I've read through it. I've heard them talk about it on the AMAs. The basic gist of this is that they don't want their world to be what World of Warcraft became or what any other big MMO becomes. Something comes out, you figure out how to beat it, and then you just do it over and over again. And you do it over and over again. They want their engine to be more random. They want things to be different and changed, and you not just know, hey, I got to stand over here, or I go over here, and there's a mob of monsters, and if I have the right group, we destroy them, and then they respawn 5 minutes later, we destroy them again. I remember every MMO I've ever played, there's a certain, boringness that you get to once you reach a certain level, once your guild is strong enough, once you've figured out everything else, and you can keep doing it. There's some prestige and you're proud, but the actual motion of killing the dungeon becomes almost robotic, and they're looking to not do that. They're looking to have their world be a lot more random. All kinds of things to be different and changed, and hopefully nobody's gameplay will be identical. We won't go on the exact same quest. We won't do the exact same things. We won't find the exact same monster in the exact same area. We won't be able to beat some bosses with the exact same strategy every single time, because they may have adjustments and be different, and there may be monsters you can't even kill except for during certain times of the year or certain times of the day, and we're all going to have to experiment and play for that. They're going to have to find a balance between how random the game will be and how hard the game will be, because you don't want to make it impossible, and they'll have to figure out, that they're going to be working their way through that. But these guys have been involved in a lot of good gameplay development in the past. You can look into the team to find out a little bit more about that. But this is a really good post that just goes over the idea of what a simple forge would be and what it would build and how it would work, and it just gives you an idea of how everything is going to be working. There's one other post that's kind of interesting. I'll go ahead and give you a link to this as well. This is about the actual Gala Games node system. I've been looking for this. It just came up a few days ago. I just read it today, because I didn't really understand how a Gala game node worked. Even though it is theoretically a master node on their network type idea, it's not exactly the same. And so if you go to master nodes online, it doesn't come up. You don't know it. It doesn't have a set pay schedule like those other ones do. It doesn't work quite the same way. And what exactly is it? And so now I finally kind of understand it. So they're doing a model where they sell their master nodes, and each time they sell 100 of them, they increase the price of running a master node by 100. And the reason why they can do that is because they don't really have a set number of rewards. They're doing more of a random distribution based on a point system, and you earn points based on how many nodes you are running and whether or not, and how many nodes your referrals are running. So if you do a really good job referring people to the game and getting them into nodes, then you'll be able to win more items in the daily distributions. So I'll just do a quick little breakdown of how this works. If you want to read the whole post to get a better understanding of it, I suggest you do that. But they talk about it down here on the point system. So if you are a personal person who's not a member of the team running a node, you get 1 point. If you are a team member of their team running a node, you only get 0.1 point. So they'd have to run, if you work for them, you have to run 10 nodes to have the same chance at winning a prize as somebody running 1 node. Now, if a direct referral purchases a node, you get 10 points just when they purchase it. So it's not an ongoing thing, but you would be running with a good amount of points if you get a lot of your referrals to go ahead and do it. So then they have a release schedule for how much Gala is distributed, And they also release NFTs to you. So basically every day, depending on how many nodes you're running, how many people are running nodes, and some math that gets done, and the post goes over the math that they do, you will get either an NFT or some Gala or both. The current cost of the nodes, I think, are in the $2,000 range. I don't know if it's $2,200 or $2,300 or $2,400. I need to go double check. If I do buy a node, I will do a video about purchasing it, setting up, record it. Let me know if you guys want to do that. I'm see it. If a lot of people want to see it, if I can get some support in wanting to do that, I will probably do it. It is a kind of big investment, but I've been looking at it. I really feel like this game has a chance to be something special, the Mirandus ones. And Town Star is a solid game. I take a week off of it now and again because when you play it and you get to one of those top positions in the top 10, I pulled off 9th place, not this season or the season before, but one season before that, I won 6,000 Gala tokens. I'm like, man, I burned myself out. I've had to play that game so much, keep it running so much, do so much planning, and I still only got 9th place, and I only won 6,000 Gala, so it's like, man, that was a lot of work. It's super competitive up at that top level. There are a lot of people. I don't know exactly why they're playing so hard and they're getting so many points. The prizes don't seem to justify it yet to me, but the team has said that the prizes are going to get better. So maybe just trying to prove to yourself that you can win, and when the prizes get big, you're going to be like, all right, I know how to do this. I know how to win. And so I'm going to end the video now that I've gone over all. Oh, I have one more little quick update to share. They're going to be at the ETH Denver Meetup. And so if you guys want to check this out, I'll also put a link to this tweet. It's a pretty cool little thing. It's going on in just about a week, and you'll be able to kind of just see the team, see what's going on. And so it should be a pretty fun little thing. Oh, I didn't follow them on this account. I have a couple Twitter accounts because I have a couple different names. This is my original, and then I have my Stever82. But I'll go ahead and follow them one more time. So, if you want to check this out, if you want a chance to see the team talk, see how passionate they are, learn more about who they are, this would be a good way to do it. And they also do a lot of AMAs now, and you should try to catch those. They do them on Theta, and then they post them to their YouTube channel as well. So the last thing I'm going to go over is my Mirandus towns. So currently, you are allowed to run more than one town as long as you're not cheating and you're not botting. And so the only way really to compete at these upper levels, in my opinion, and somebody can... there's two ways you can compete. You can run multiple accounts, you can play with friends, or you can buy a lot of the special items. I got this one because of a donation I made. It's a legendary wheat station, so it feeds these guys wheat. So as you can see, I'm only growing wheat in one spot, and I'm able to have a lot of these towers making me flour. I am actually making too much flour all of a sudden. I don't know what happened to my distribution. It's like everything started making stuff quicker and I'm not keeping up. So it's kind of a strange little happenstance that happened right now. So I'm going to have to figure that out eventually. But this is my cake town. So this is a cake town that you won't be able to build unless you have items like this legendary thing here. I also got the Christmas spot. Thank you for everyone that signed up using my link. I will have a link for you to sign up below if you would like to help me get the salty bot. I only need a few more people, so if a few people who see this, all you have to do is sign up and you help me get the bot. You have to play the game and try it out for a couple days if you want to get your free 100 Gala tokens. Again, you won't really be able to claim those tokens until they're on the Flare network because it won't make any sense to claim them unless you play the game and you win a whole lot of them. So currently my account is in 20th place. I imagine I'm going to stay in 20th or 19th. I could maybe catch Crypto Dude in the next 5 hours. I don't think I can catch these guys. Just to give you an idea of the top player, he's at 9 million. There's a few of them in this 9 million competing for the top. And the big prizes are usually in the top 10. So the lowest you'd have to be able to do the top 10 is about 2 million. When I was 9th, I got 3.6 million. So that would still put me up here in this top area. maybe it wouldn't have been quite enough because sometimes there's somebody who saves 100 cakes to sell as the like in the last hour, or 200 cakes. I don't know how they do that, but if you're playing with enough towns and you can like park them somewhere and then you just dump them all in the last hour so that you jump up the board, it's kind of interesting. I saw that happen. I was floating around in 5th the week I got 9th, and all of a sudden some guys just leaped past me, and I don't know how they did that. It was very strange. This is my second town. So this town really is just making wood, flour, and sugar. So the idea here, since I'm making cakes, you usually can't make enough sugar. You usually have a trouble making enough flour. The balance is really hard. So I set up a secondary town. It's making milk over here. And since I have the wheat station making it so that I make food automatically, I'm feeding food over to this town, and I have a couple ranch hands making a little bit of food so that I can try to feed those 4 cows. I ended up with a total of 7 over here, so I have 11 cows running. As you can see, I do have a decent amount of milk. I do have it's a lot of different things. I think this guy was sending milk and I have too much milk, so I'll change him back to sending wood. So this is how you'd have to play if you play with 2 accounts. You use these jimmies, they trade items back and forth. You have to try to balance the 2 accounts. You have to try to not mess it up, not send too many things. I had a couple insane mess ups. I wasn't making gas here. I make all my gas here, which makes a lot of sense because anybody who plays this game knows you end up with way too much gas once you make a setup like this, which is basically just 2 power plants and two of these. I probably should have just built a water tower here to give this one 2 water, but nevertheless, the once you have this set up and you have some pumps set up, you will just make gas non-stop without any need of anything special, and you will end up with 2 of these things with 80 gas. And when you reach the end of the game and you're making cakes, it takes you forever to make 10 cakes, then you only spend 1 gas. So if you're gonna play with friends or with 2 accounts yourself, you can, and if they ever ban the 2 accounts thing, I will immediately stop. For now, they're letting us do it. Probably because the player base is kind of small. Because my secondary account, even though he hasn't been selling that many things, he's still in the top 100 at 58. This is actually my brother's name. I made this account for him. And hopefully one day I'll be able to get him into Mirandus, say, hey, I already made you an account. Here's the info. You've already got a few thousand Gala tokens on there. You've won a few items, maybe if he ever places high enough, and here you go. But you usually have to be in the top 100 to win anything, and the top 100, you only have to have 169,000 points. That's not that many. The bottom 10, it goes down to like this 2,600 people loaded the game, but a lot of people don't even get any points. I don't know how you load the game and get 0. When you first load the game, you start off with 10 wheat, and if you sell it, you get 10 points. So I don't know what's up with all these 0 accounts. There are people who created a town, maybe who came here. This isn't their type of game. They didn't understand it. But, well, you know, I don't know what happened. So I'll go ahead and do a full screen of each town really quick so you can get kind of an idea of what a finished town kind of looks like. So this would be, if this was your town and you were playing by yourself and you were just getting into the game, you probably wouldn't build this much salt, but you would want to build at least like this much salt. You would not have this many windmills because you wouldn't be able to keep them all running without a second town helping you feed wood to them. So figured to have about, I don't know, half of these. You'd have to find an adjustment for how many trees you could build. I don't know if this is the best way to build a tree farm. This is the part of the game I'm still learning. Trees need 7 and sugar need 8. The only way to get 8 and 8 is to have like this long river here, this long river here, and then the spaces in the middle have 8 water, and these 2 corner ones end up having 7. So you can still grow trees here and here, no matter how long this was. This is basically an item that makes a lake that I have as well from getting some referrals. It's one of the fountains, so that's why I don't have a water right here, and that makes a little walkway through for them, which is kind of nice. And then if you were just growing trees, one river on the left side does create enough for you to grow trees, as you'll see, but it doesn't make enough to grow sugar. So to be able to grow some sugar, this is the format that I go. And I'll show you that on the other town. This is kind of an interesting setup. I think I was actually kind of proud of this one, so I think this is an interesting idea. This is salt water. You can build a water pump right here, which then allows you to build one little piece of land right here, and then that allows you to build your power plant right here, and then you have an area here where you can build items that need power, and these ones both get 3, and these ones both get would both get at least 1. So even if you were not going cakes, this would be an interesting setup you could build. And also you could actually do items going 3 right here. I just didn't need too much more cakeries, I didn't think. Maybe I messed up like that, but you can build up to these 3 here, all getting 3 energy. And so if you were doing a uniforms area, you would, sorry if my head was out of frame, I gotta work on checking that. You could build a lot of the plants that need energy to make things. So that would be the uniform making areas, because they all need at least 1, if not 3 if it's making uniform, 1 if it's making wool, and everything like that. And then I threw these 2 storehouses here to hope that people, all of these ones here would dump into here, and they wouldn't always have to walk very far. And then I got a couple butter makers here. I actually spread out my butter makers. I don't know if that's a good idea, because sometimes I'm putting butter way over here, and then my cakeries are having to run pretty far. But also, I have windmills over in this area that are putting items in this thing. So if all the butters were here, then the butter people would be running way over there. So these butter people get these items from here. If you have an opinion on what's better to do for that setup, go ahead and let me know. Now I'll show you a secondary town. This town, the way that this one is set up, is more as a helper town. So you'll see I don't have every building built. I built an area to make me fuel. Since I'm doing cakes, I just built 1 lumber mill. I did the same thing of river, and like an L-shaped river here, so that I could build trees and sugar all in here. I made sure I built more trees than this one needed. I did go ahead and update the buildings. I fed this one, basically in the beginning of the game, you try to let it last on its own, and then once you can start crafting items, you feed it its crafted items, and you don't sell anything else from this town unless it builds up a big excess of something. And if it is your town making fuel, then you could just go ahead and sell away the fuel when it gets up really high. But this town basically just sits here, making sugar, making milk, making flour, making those base items to help my other town craft stuff, and then shoots it over there to them. So as you can see, and it grows extra wood and shoots the wood over, so that my buildings can craft faster. Because the thing that if you don't know what this legendary tower does, these 5 start off with 5 wheat immediately, and they just need wood. So these 3 will just run here and get wood, and these 2 will just run to here and get wood. So I set these up to be able to get their own wood relatively quickly, so that my lumberjacks can worry about getting wood to this row here, these ones over here, and try to get them going. In general, the lumberjacks can't really feed any of these guys wood quick enough. See, this one needs wood, so he'll end up probably going and grabbing wood. But having the second town feed me enough wood to keep wood into my lumber mill and my little shack over here, which I should probably turn the shack into a lumber mill, but regardless. I'll always float with a little bit of wood as long as they are feeding me the wood, and then my town will produce things really quick. So this is just a quick look. As you can see, I just kind of stuck chicken farms in like kind of random little areas. They're pretty cool because they'll always be fast. They can be right next to an industrial building. It doesn't affect them. The cows, maybe I could have kept them away from my forest, and it might have made my trees a little bit more efficient, because they're slowing down all of these trees to being really slow, and then they're slowing down this one to be kind of slow, and then the trees don't get fast on this side until right here. So, and when you do one solid row here without water here, this last spot can't do a tree. That's why I throw a chicken here. You could also throw a cow here, but then it would ruin these trees. Chickens don't affect the trees, so just a little hint. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. We're at 25 minutes. The last half was really just if you wanted to take a look at the Town Star towns and you wanted to see kind of, you know, what a town that's going to finish in the top 20. My town in this setup, I might have been able to play top 10, but I had family over. And they were sleeping in my office over the weekend. I couldn't run the game during the nighttime because my towns were set up. I just didn't want to see them get ruined. I would accidentally, like, as you can see, I have way too much flour being made right now. And so if I'm going to try to adjust that and fix it, but I only have a few hours left, so I don't know if I care. But if I let it run all night like that, I would come back here and this town would just be full of flour. I'd have no cakes made. And then this town would have some issue where it had nothing and I wasted all my money and all I have is flour to sell, no cakes, and then I'm screwed. So be careful if you're playing the game like this. You got to, it's harder than it looks. It takes a lot of balancing of the two accounts. I would suggest in the beginning, while you're first learning to play the game, just try to make that top 100. Just try to learn how to make a town be able to be efficient and how to make cakes or to make uniforms. That's one of the easier setups. If you're going to make cakes, you have to have an ocean next to you. So if I look at where I am, I'm here and here. This is an interesting spot because this is a forest and this is a plains. That made it easy for this to be my area, providing me wood in the beginning of the game, and this account to be able to have the salt on the one side and then be able to have plains so that it didn't have a lot of trees to clear. So I was able to build a big town really fast. That kind of setup I think is pretty ideal. If you can do it in a spot like here where you get two oceans, then you can make more salt, but that's also detrimental. One of the best areas in the game to try to set yourself up on is this spot here, and it's kind of sad that somebody who's only number 81 got it. This spot, if you were able to go here and here, these would be good spots because this one here would have rivers to help you grow trees, and this one right here would have oceans to help you grow salt, and the rivers also help you grow sugar. So this would be a really good area, and you'd be right next to a town. As you can see, I have a little bit of a distance to a town, so it's taking me a little bit to sell. One of the best places to set up an iron town, I'll go ahead and show you guys this as a quick little tip if you've hung out till the end, is right over here. So this river next to that mountain, this river next to that mountain, and this spot here is actually really good because you have river and mountain. And one of the more interesting spots that you can play if you have an express truck and you're okay doing it, if you play right here, you have river on this side, mountain on this side. The nice thing about this spot right here that this person's not taking advantage of that well is that the mountain doesn't cast shade on the side of your town where the river is. You can do that here too, but that town's pretty far away. You could check if that works, but you need an express truck to set up in these areas currently, and you probably need a secondary account helping you because in these areas it costs a lot more gas and fuel to send it. This one right here is not that bad, but this one right here is one of the easier ones to play, especially if you have a friend or a second account and you put it right here. Then you can have this one growing wood, making you lumber, and feeding it to this one that you can set up mines against the side of there and have some water for you to build some crops and do some things over there that you need to do. Maybe do your sheeps up here in the shade that the mountain's going to cast on those first few river plots. So that's what I've learned playing the game, everybody. Take care of yourself. Check out Town Star for now to get into the Gala Games world. And then once you've really, had a chance, go ahead and dig into Mirandus because it is a special game and it is going to be something, in my opinion, that has a good chance at just changing the MMO world. I really do think that if they get this game launched and they get it out there and it's playable and it'll be something that's really fun for older MMO players like me because it'll be a game that we haven't played before. It'll be something fun for the current generation of kids who love Minecraft because it'll be a Minecraft game where they get to own all the items. I know there's another Ether game trying to do that, but this one I feel like it's ahead of the game. And like I said, Two kingdoms are gone. You have a lot of other items that are pretty expensive that are being sold out. So if you're thinking about getting into this game and you want to get some land, you better come check out this stuff now because it's going fast. That's for sure. I'll talk to you guys later. Have fun and goodbye.